it is time for the first expert panel of the day. I am extremely excited about this group of retail experts that's going to be sharing their knowledge with you. We have individuals with background from to and from Retail U, Gap, and Amazon. So we are going to learn a lot. And today they're going to be talking about how do you keep up with soaring customer expectations in a time of low loyalty. So please join me in welcoming our esteemed panel.
Do they switch this on? Do they? Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Can you guys hear me? Good. Clearly, I've been asked to join this panel to solve the gender and age diversity issue, which we now no longer have. My name is Ken Pilot. I'm a former C-level executive for Gap, American Eagle, Ralph Lauren, J. Crew, even some time with ABC Carpet and Home. At present, I invest in and advise retail tech platforms that support brands online, in stores, and operationally. And I also host a podcast called The Retail Pilot, pretty creative, look at the name, which is with retail CEOs. Happy to be here today and turn it over to April.
My name is April Sabral. I'm the founder of Retail U and the Positivity Company. My background is leading store teams for brands like Apple, Starbucks, Gap, Banana Republic, and the last job was David's Tea as a senior vice president of stores. And now I help brands and leaders turn their managers into leaders that ignite that positive emotion to create positive cultures in stores, to drive results, positive results.
Ali?
Hi everyone, I am Ali Wright. I am the team lead of Ametria's customer success team. So I have the pleasure of partnering with our retailers both in North America and in Europe and helping them create experiences that their customers are going to love.
Christy?
Hi, I'm Christy Schrader. I'm a former executive of Apple and Amazon. I've also worked for Nordstrom and Washington Mutual Bank. My specialty is marketing and customer activation, as well as employee engagement and communications. And I'm currently advising a variety of clients, from small little startups to some big box retailers on those areas of expertise. It's see you all.
Bridget?
Hi everyone, I'm Bridget Johns and I'm the founder of To and From, which is an online gifting experience company. Welcome to check it out. And previously I worked my whole career working in stores, running stores for brands like Ralph Lauren Home Collection, Tiffany & Co., L'Oreal, and then spent 12 years working for Retail Next, which is a data analytics company focused on brick and mortar stores before moving over to the digital side of my company.
All right, awesome. Well, it's great to be here. We're going to talk about loyalty and what it takes to engender loyalty.
It's you.
Is that me? Engender loyalty in this day and age. First question, and I'm going to pose this to Bridget, Christy, and April. What does customer loyalty mean to you in 2023, and how has it evolved during your time in retail?
Yeah, I think, do you want me to start? Yeah. I think what's interesting in today's market is the near perfect access to information that consumers have. So consumers have these expectations when they interact with your brand. And I think it's very important for the brand to deeply understand, as Sophie was saying this morning, like you really have to understand yourself to be able to build that loyalty with your customer. If you think about brands like Amazon, it's very much focused on price and speed to delivery, which it fulfills a very specific niche within loyalty. On the other end of the spectrum, you have loyalty players like American Express, where it's really about access and an elevated experience. And you have to drive that interaction with your customers in a very, very different way. And then everyone else is sort of in between, I think. But deeply understanding your brand to be able to make the right touch points and connections to consumers, I think, is one of the most important things.
Christy?
I think we talk a lot about really knowing your customers and personalization. When it comes to a loyalty program, really leaning into those members of your loyalty program as the best promoters for your brand. And there's the kind of standard set of benefits you get with your loyalty program, but it's those surprise and delight things that you all can probably relate to that you receive yourself in your loyalty programs. You know, you mentioned American Express. American Express knows I'm traveling. They're going to send me an offer for a free Clear membership. Sephora knows my niece really well and is going to send her a free offer for a free makeover right before prom and graduation season starts to happen. I open up my Nordstrom account and I've got a free alterations credit that I didn't expect to have. Just those little surprising things that go beyond the unexpected can really make a big difference.
April?
Yeah, loyalty for me, building loyal customers is about creating that positive sentiment in your customer, which creates a engaged, committed person that's going to repeat buy from you, right? And I don't think that's ever changed, really, if you can create that positive sentiment. But what I do think has changed is the expectation on personalization. And personalization can be a little bit creepy when you're sending an email to somebody and that 25-year-old is, they don't know me. Like, why are they talking to me like they do know me? So I think that you kind of have to be really cautious and careful with how you do message personalization. I have a 25-year-old that says that to me. That's how I know that. And then, but also personalization of like, you're in a feed and you're getting recommended items that are being presented to you based on your purchasing habits already can be great personalization, because then it's making my life easier and it's recommending things to me, which is going to make me trust you because you know me. So I think personalization has changed, and I think there's a fine line between what it looks like and how it's delivered and how that creates that positive sentiment in your customer.
Loyalty, if you look at it at a high level, strong brands really do have the ability to roll out a strong loyalty program because you want to be a member of that brand. So, like, some good points. What role does cross-channel marketing play for retailers when trying to keep up with customer expectations? Bridget?
Yes, coming from the store side, I believe deeply that people do not shop in channels, so consumers don't think about channels when they're shopping. As retailers, we're the ones actually that get in the way of that experience. There's nothing more frustrating than walking into a store, having seen something online, and seeing a really watered down experience when you get into the store. So either the associates don't have the data about you to understand who you are and what your preferences are, or the assortment is just abysmal inside of the store. And each of those experiences from a consumer perspective really starts to break down your brand. So I think across both stores and digital, we really need to be thinking about how do we stitch this experience together for consumers and make sure that wherever they are, we know them and can tailor the offering to their need in that moment.
Ali, same question.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with what Bridget said, that data is key in creating those consistent customer experiences across channel. For me, a global beauty brand, Astrid & Me, are a great example of this. They use Emetria to have all of their customer data in one place. And what this allows them to do is, if you go in store, their in-store teams know how many loyalty points you have, what tier you're on, and can provide that really personalized experience in store. Also, the online team can use the in-store data to personalize your experience after your store visit. So whether you've gone for a piercing at one of their pop-ups or you have bought a necklace from their New York flagship store, the type of experience you get after that visit is super tailored. So product recommendations for your new piercing or necklaces that will go with the purchase you made in the New York store. So they're creating that really joined up experience.
April, from a store perspective?
From a store's perspective, I look at cross-channel as reminders. Like, it's kind of like, you know, I don't know, we set reminders in our phone, right? Like, to have something happen like 3 times a day, go drink your water, get up, take a walk around, get exercise. So I think, like, when I think about cross-channel, I think they're communication channels that can prompt your customer to be a reminder, as long as the messaging's clear. When you're promoting 5 different offers, the most frustrating thing for a store is that they didn't know about it, and now somebody's walking in and asking them about it, and they have no clue, especially when things get switched on overnight. And we know it has to happen, because you have to drive promotions, you've got to move product. But I feel like if you can think about it holistically, like you said, that customers don't think about channels, but it's that prompt and reminder, because psychologically, that's how people buy, right?
Yeah, from a marketing perspective, I always say, don't let the customer see your org chart. You know, it should be a completely seamless experience. And I'm seeing people do this really well, particularly if you look at some trends like experiential marketing. For so long, experiential marketing, talk today, was just a store. tactic. And I'm seeing a lot of brands actually carry that through now to their online and app store experiences. So Lululemon, I think, recently just launched a virtual store that you can go through, and it has a really immersive experience online. And then when you do go into a store, you're seeing the exact same products and the exact same theme that's matching. And that how that is all connected and tied up, I think, is really compelling, and will keep customers engaged to come back and check out what else is new in terms of an experience standpoint. Hopefully lead to additional engagement and conversion.
Next question, Bridget. How did you find that customer behavior around loyalty changed significantly through the COVID period?
Yeah, I think we were talking about this yesterday, and I personally find it really hard to isolate like pre and post customer behavior, because I think there were a lot of trends happening that accelerated, number one. Number two, categories of business really that accelerated during COVID. We're now like having that hangover. So if you're in the home goods sector, you probably confused sales with loyalty. And those customers aren't there right now. So they've really shifted to more fashion apparel, going out, going to see Taylor Swift, getting dressed for Beyonce concerts, et cetera. So I think like the trends are really hard to isolate pre and post COVID. But I do think that some of the technology innovation that happened during COVID is here to stay. And for consumers, it's great. So I think that as retailers, we were really able to move the needle and teach ourselves actually how fast we can move and how nimble we can be. Now the question is, how do we take what we've learned, combine it with what's happening in sort of the macro tech scene around AI and around like real deep personalization, and take all that we've learned and accelerate it into the next phase of consumer understanding to make sure that we're not leaving all the work that we've done behind.
I think you look at COVID as a terrible period, but it probably did more to advance retailers in the area of technology, reaching the customer, developing loyalty. Think specifically about grocery. I mean, grocery really wasn't doing online and connecting with the customer. Now what grocers don't rely on online to connect with the customer, but big changes were brought about clearly.
Yeah, 100%.
This is an all play. Traditionally, loyalty programs can be hit and miss. When trying to build meaningful connections, what actions can retailers take to revamp and improve their program today? Who wants to start?
Yeah, happy to
I'm
start.
looking at you, Ali.
So for me, the loyalty programs that really stand out are those that give customers multiple avenues to engage with the brand and with the program. And in return, there's kind of multiple avenues in which you can be rewarded. It's not just incentive or discount led. And for me, Steve Madden is a great example of this. The Steve Madden Pass loyalty program gives the customers those multiple avenues to engage with the scheme. So whether that be through account creation, wish list, leaving a product review, these all earn you stars and allow you to unlock new tiers. And then with regards to rewards, it's not just that incentive off your next purchase. It's things like exclusive merchandise, early access to products, in-store events, and even priority customer support. So it's giving those additional value-add experiences that I think not only drive loyalty, but also brand advocacy as well.
Well, my favorite program is Starbucks because it's something that I consume every single day, and I get the notifications when I get additional rewards. It's something that I can actually apply to get drinks as well as merchandise, which is really cool. And they ask me, they send me surveys and ask me, like when I've been into a store, they literally send me something to ask me about it. So I'm like, oh, they know where I am. But it's one of my favorite. And I think it's really because it's immediate. Like I'm a consumer that likes an immediate reward for what I've actually purchased. Now, there's other customers and friends that I know that like driving behavior. Like Apple has a point system. I didn't know this, but I looked it up. So Apple gives points for when you actually share knowledge on on their support groups. So if you're an Apple user and you want to solve something, you can literally get points that get given discounts. So it's kind of cool too. But like even Nike Plus drives fitness goals, right? So I think rewards and behaviors, these are the two things that I see that can really kind of drive those loyalty programs in a positive way.
Bridget, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I always go back to sort of old school Little Black Book the best sales associates would have inside of a store. And they would capture all of this really rich information about their customers, and they would know you so well that they could personalize the conversation as soon as you walked in the door. And I think we've, certainly retail got away from that for a long time, trying to automate and systematize everything. But now we're at a place where you really can start to capture all of these like macro and micro data points to use along the way with your messaging and your communication and the offers that you send to customers. In my business, in the gifting business, we think about the data capture along every step of the journey. So somebody comes to our site and they search for a gift for their sister for their birthday. We, of course, serve up gifts that are appropriate for the sister based on whatever we know, but then we capture that information to use at a later date. So we now know that Mary has a sister. So we get towards the holidays and we market to her and say, what are you buying your sister for her birthday? Next year, we know her birthday is coming up. We know the date. We've captured that information and we can get ultra precise on the recommendation and build on that first kind of data capture. So really thinking about every touch point that you can bring any data into your system, I think is critically important. And it's actually one of the reasons that I have been so excited to meet the Ometria team and learn what they're doing because of this ability to get so ultra precise in your communication that aligns with my company's values perfectly.
Cool. I think one program I love what RH is doing. I think creating a membership program and actually charging to be part of the membership is amazing. And again, that goes back to brand strength. You take a look at Lululemon, they also have a similar program where you actually pay. But if you think about it, then you really lock a customer in, and that, if I'm thinking about furniture and I'm a member of RH, I'm going to shop them first because I'm going to get the best possible pricing. Or same thing with Lululemon. But these are brand leaders in their category. So brand strength, great loyalty, and great opportunities to really build a program.
And I bet you're also willing to give them almost any information about your home, your home style, everything. Yeah.
I know for a fact they can't organize it, but yes, you're right. I think they need Ometria. Okay. Next question. This is for April. What are some of the strategies you've seen for rewarding your brand's most loyal customers and VIPs?
So strategies that I see rewarding from brands, some of my favorite is Sephora because I love beauty products. So rewarding, I feel like when I go into this, I heard you mention it, that you go into the store and you get rewarded with product immediately, which is really cool. Starbucks, I'm always going to talk about Starbucks because I love Starbucks. And I'm also an alumni. So what they've even extended now is if you are an alumni, you've ever worked there in your life, you can now join this membership. And they're actually going to start rewarding alumni for doing volunteer hours, which now gives us a purpose-driven mission to have a rewards program and get involved in the community, which I think is going to be a huge unlock. So those are two that really stand out to me.
Also, I love where brands also look to partner with other brands to build great loyalty programs. I mean, think about Delta. Look, I'm a Delta ho. Okay, there, I said it. But I love the fact that, Ron, Clear, partner, Amex, go to the club, partner, and then how they differentiate their program at different levels, which are always striving to get higher and higher for better upgrades. So I love the way they work across other brands to build a really robust loyalty program.
Absolutely.
Christy, for you, when you're traveling, when you're trying to build retention and loyalty, what piece of information do you need on your customers to provide the kind of experience that brings customers back?
Yeah, I mean, and just go back to knowing your customers, data. Have a very distinct point of view on what the data set is that you're going to need to look at, have it served up to you in a very clear way that you can interpret strategies from that data. So you look at the qualitative data from, lifetime value of a customer. Certainly helps when you're under pressure to make short-term decisions, is to be thinking about that lifetime, really understanding that lifetime value of a customer, your engagement and conversion rates across all of your platforms and all your customer touch points. All purchase behaviors, segmentation, all very familiar data points to each of you. But don't forget about the qualitative data. And I think the smart retailers are really figuring out through new technologies like AI to be able to understand what their front-facing employees are hearing. Go to stores, talk to stores, have a feedback channel for those that are actually interacting with your customers on a day-to-day basis. Look at your chats and see what the top issues are. Talk to your call center employees. That is a very powerful source of information. And so depending on your business, make your right formula, between getting that aggregate set of data right, and your marketing is going to be a lot more effective and build long-term relationships.
So that would seem to work extremely well for the customers we know. But as we all know, there are many customers that interact with our brands online and in stores that we don't know.
As an anonymous customer.
How do we deal with the anonymous customer? What's working? What are you doing to actually try to get them to identify themselves, especially in the age of don't share your information, Big Brother's watching, GDPR. There's so much pressure to get the customer to not want to share. And all we want to do as brands is we want to help the customer have a better experience. So what do we do?
Yeah, that big fish that gets away. I think there's a couple things. One is part of the issue is they don't know if the customer doesn't know what you're doing with their data. So what are you asking them for? Why are you asking? And if you say we're only asking, we're only going to send you this, then only send them that. Resist the temptation to go back and be like, oh, we can send them one more thing, or we can text them now. So earn the customer's trust in that way. And I think also going back to, in store, there's technologies now that you can be utilizing to help engage that customer and start to build a relationship with them, like, whether you like them or not, QR codes, for example, or certain signing that they encouraged to interact with, the app, connecting the app to your in-store experience, and you're getting information.
I know one also. You can have terrible Wi-Fi service in your store and then provide free Wi-Fi and get their information with that.
Yes, you could also do that. You could do that.
That would be helpful.
And I think just creating that stickiness in other ways to get the customer to keep coming back and earn their trust that if they give you their information, you're not going to use it. You're going to use it in a way that's meaningful to them.
Awesome. April, coming back to you. How do you foster the right in-store culture that helps contribute to the holistic customer perception of the brand?
I can talk about this all day. I'm smiling.
You have not all day.
No, I know. 2 minutes. So I think, first of all, it starts off with creating a positive sentiment, right? Like, I'm a big one on creating those positive emotions and that connection. And we were talking about it earlier, the connection, like the positive sentiment, which starts with the engagement of the teams in the store. You can tell, right, when you go into a store and you walk in and everybody feels good about where they work, that they are then your brand ambassadors. And they will talk about it all day to their friends, their family, they just walk around talking about it. But how do you do this, right? Well, it starts with the management of the teams. So I think that you really have to realize that every person that leads that team affects everybody in that box, which then transfers and ripples out to your clients. So I think really listening to the managers, really asking for their feedback. When people feel valued, heard, and seen, guess what? They feel engaged, they feel connected to you. So as marketers in retail, your job is to find out what they need to be successful and really listen to them and really listen. Like, have roundtables, have conversations, do skip level conference calls, all those things that you can keep them engaged, because that manager is going to feel valued and it's going to transfer to the employees in the store. So creating a positive culture, number one, ripples out and will make that environment good for every single person walking through the door. And I've learned that it doesn't matter which stores I led, how big the team was, how small the team was, it's the same. If you don't have a manager that's engaged with what you want them to do, it doesn't matter what else you do. It's going to ripple out.
I think also organizing the stores so that they really do support online. For example, buy online, pick up in store, it's big. Well, how seamless is that pickup in store for the customer? When we go in, is it there? Is it readily available? And can I get out? Because it's all about speed and friction.
Yep.
And things like that do really create loyalty if you can remove that from the whole transaction.
100%. Whatever makes it easier for the store teams to be happier and positive, make the process simple.
But this is for Ali. Are there specific post-purchase engagement strategies that are more successful in turning one-time shoppers into loyal brand advocates?
Yeah, there's definitely two strategies that really stand out as those that our retailers adopt. The first is providing those value-add experiences, which I've already mentioned. These help foster advocacy and get the customer to keep coming back. And I think Sephora, like you mentioned, are a really great example of this. They have their Beauty Insider community, which you can join as a customer, which gives you the ability to connect with like-minded customers through your shared love of beauty. You can do things like join challenges, swap makeup tips, and also get to trial and review new products. The second part of this is rewarding and empowering that advocacy, so getting the customer to kind of keep doing that and keep that cycle going. And I think another beauty brand are a really good example of this, and that is Space & K, who I love to shop with. As a loyal customer, you are regularly gifted with free full-size products for you to go away and try and then give a review on. And when you give that review, you're also rewarded with loyalty points again. So it's kind of keeping that circle of advocacy going and creating a really great experience that I love.
Goes back to what you said earlier also about when you hit the customer with information or messaging that's appropriate to their last experience. Here's what you need to complete the look, or what helps me really participate more in the brand. April, what are some of the most common mistakes brands make when trying to build loyal customer base?
Make it really, really complicated. I think that, when we overcomplicate things and we make it so we're sitting here in a meeting, and I've seen this many times in my experience just of working in store support centers on the executive side, is just making things really complicated and trying to figure out problems that maybe don't exist and creating solutions. So just keep it simple, keep things simple. Remember that yes, you're creating programs and you're solving problems, but at the end of the day, you are the customer. So if you don't understand it and you can't remember it, what it's doing for you, then 9 times out of 10, your customer's not going to remember either. So I just think keep it simple.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what Christy said earlier about trying to win simply with price. There's so many other things that you can build great customer loyalty with. I mean, even in stores, you can get a special bag for purchasers who spend over a certain amount. How do we treat customers differently who treat the brands with the highest regard? Because there are a lot of perks, a lot of benefits there. Okay, this is another all play, and it's our final question. And we have 4 minutes left. What are some of the methods that brands are using today in addition to price to create loyalty?
Yeah, I think really thinking about where your customer is and meeting them where they are is the number one thing you can do based on your brand. So if your customer is really a value shopper, meet them with the value. If they're an experience shopper, meet them with the experience. And in order to be able to do that, you really have to be thinking about how you build that little black book of information about every single customer and keeping that information top of mind, whether the customer is having a digital experience or an in-store experience, and making sure that you're able to tailor what you're offering at any given time.
April talked about this a little bit. I think the key strategy is just empowering your employees. So we talked a little bit about trust, and you want to earn that. You have to earn that customer's trust, and then you have to keep that customer's trust. And customer has a lot of options, and so if you go in and you talk to an employee, and an employee isn't there to be able to help you. If you came in to get a dress that online showed that it was available in your size in the store, and that employee says, sorry, that's going to break your trust. But if that employee is empowered through their organization to say, you know what, I'm going to get that dress for you online. When's your event? Great, I'm going to ship that to you in time for your event. And guess what? That's overnight shipping, but I'm not going to charge you for that because you came all the way down here to get that dress and we didn't have it and we let you down. What else can I get you? Do you need a handbag? I mean, just seemingly day-to-day interactions that happen that can really make a huge difference in being a brand withdrawal for that customer's loyalty. And then the other piece is just to do what you say. We're seeing so much that customers are very much aligning towards brands that have a value proposition that aligns with their values. And you have to, as a company, own up to those values. You have to walk the talk, and you have to put those actually into actions, because customers are smarter than they're treated sometimes. And if you're just trying to greenwash a storyline to try and appeal to a certain market, you're going to get caught. So don't do it.
Yeah, I was going to say transparency. Yeah, right. We're in the age of information, and everybody Googles everybody and does reviews on everybody. So be transparent. I love the conversation this morning that Sophie presented around authenticity, because I think it's so important to be transparent. Don't be afraid. Sharing. People are looking for what's inside products. Where is it coming from? Is it sustainable? Where's it made? What's your values as a company? So I think transparency.
I'm going to go back to what Bridget said around data. I think the data is really key, and having a place where all of your customer data sits so you can create those personalized experiences consistently, because this is kind of the minimum of what customers expect. and your tech stack should be able to do the heavy lifting for you with that. And the types of data you should be ensuring that you're using on a regular basis is things like loyalty data, so you can celebrate those key milestones with your customers, review data, so you know who's giving your products great reviews. These are your brand ambassadors. You should be fostering this group of customers. And then also customer service data. So understanding who's given you a low score, can you give them a cooling off period or incentivize them to come back? But leveraging that real-time customer data is going to help you create the experiences that are going to foster loyalty for you.
Yeah. So one thing I would add too, and I don't know if this actually goes under the header of loyalty, but just improving customer search, both online and in the store. Again, if my search experience is great online, I'm going to be a more loyal customer. If it's lousy, I'll go on to the next site. And ditto for the stores. Can associates help me find what I'm looking for? How quickly can they find it? And can they accurately find it? God knows there's enough stuff missing in stores that isn't there. That's really, really frustrating. So a lot of components. But just to summarize what we talked about, I think loyalty really goes back to brand strength and a brand's ability to look at their customer holistically. There are no channels. Customers don't really care that they're shopping in store or online. They want it when they want it. They want what they want, and they want it at a fair price. And pricing isn't what drives loyalty. Loyalty is made up of many components, pricing being one, but certainly the way that you're treated, just like Clear can whisk you through a line, or Amex can recommend where to shop. And that's also really good. And then personalization. How personalized, how specific is the message to me? Why am I getting the women's catalog when I'm a male shopper? I think Jalal raised that earlier with one of his favorite brands. And then finally, the frequency with which we hit our customers with marketing messages. Not the same for everyone. One size does not fit all. So that's what we have for everybody today. Loyalty, thank you very much. I appreciate it.